Hello and welcome to this match. I am Sybert, and this is IPoWNYoU as the green screen in the top left side. I'm good with directions. And CABAL as the red knot in the bottom right side. Looks like selling off anti-infantry defenses, getting their early infantry squads, or buzzer squads in the case of IPoWNYoU, sending them out most likely, getting an engineer, and an assimilator, yes. Capture the Tiberium spike, a little bit of an econ boost, 25 credits a second I believe, and an additional 500 or 750 for the initial capture. Always very good. So this match is a little bit of a follow-up. Oh, the map is Tournament Tower. I think I forgot to mention that, but I got it there. This match is a follow-up to the replay that was shown in episode 8 of CBCPT that I cast between these two same players, IPoWNYoU and CABAL. CABAL getting the attack buggy out. It'll help clear up any sort of buzzer squads that, look at that, buzzer squads that IPoWNYoU may have around the map, because those buzzer squads, not really all that useful. Devastating to infantry and buildings as they clear them out, but also, oh, look at that, also scouting information. You can, they're like, what, 200 bucks or something to make? They're pretty cheap. They're exceedingly cheap, because they're basic infantry. But, send them through. I don't think they can be crushed by vehicles, so that's a plus, because regular infantry squads, such as the militant squad from CABAL, can, of course, be crushed by vehicles. But I don't think buzzer squads can. So, IPoWNYoU getting a little bit of scouting information here. CABAL isn't really doing too much, just producing refineries and harvesters. He's up to 5 or 6 harvesters now, which is a fair amount, and CABAL goes ahead and takes out that buzzer squad. Militant squad in IPoWNYoU's base. Doing a little bit of harassment, not really doing too much. I mean, basic infantry, not gonna do too much, especially when it's only one squad. But they do have roughly the same amount of harvesters. IPoWNYoU has 7, CABAL had 6. Last time I checked, he might have made another one. Looks like he's massing up some couple of Scorpion tanks, getting some militant rocket squads. Some of these names are a bit of a handful. But he's gearing up for a slight offensive, nothing too serious, nothing like the big battle we saw in episode 8, which was pretty insane. It was a scrim mirror matchup, and there was just probably like a 5-minute non-stop battle of both sides going at it and reinforcing basically constantly because they had production facilities right in the battle. A couple of buzzer squads, not going to do much, but you know what is going to do much? Out of power. Or not being out of power, that does even more. Scorpion tanks, obviously very good at taking down buildings and such, but if you're able to take out some of the rocket squads or just eliminate the Scorpion tanks themselves, then you can get some anti-infantry and to take care of the rocket squads. However, CABAL appears to be, he's got a pretty balanced force. He's got infantry sitting in the Tiberium field, not a good idea, but probably not going to lose in the battle, having a couple of squads sitting in the Tiberium field. It is important to notice that IPoWNYoU almost out of power. He does have his nerve center powered down to save electricity for his base defenses, which are pretty useful in this sort of a situation, especially considering the amount of rocket squads he just took out with that single buzzer squad, which I don't know if it was from a buzzer hive or just a single buzzer squad flying around the map. This battle actually kind of shaping up like the one in episode 8, where it's just constant. You got production facilities very close. Dropping the lightning spike, taking out the flame tank. Flame tank took out the portal. Some of these names. They got a different name for every building in every game. There's not really any crossover except for like harvesters. Or refineries, which this is an extractor. So, keeping track of the names can be difficult. Which I will, and already have, gotten a number of names wrong, so nothing new there. Black Hand, very good versus almost everything here. Obviously, buzzer hives present a bit of a problem as they spawn. Not quite continuous buzzers, but they respawn buzzers fairly quickly. Black Hand, very good at killing buzzers, but, you know, you got a couple of buzzer hives plus a bunch of other devourer tanks charged up, I should mention. Can be difficult for simply Black Hand infantry squads to deal with, but beam cannons taking out your buildings before they're in range of your base defenses, that's pretty good. And of course you can do the charged defenses now. Yeah, it's one of the charge beams, which of course increases the power of the beam cannons and allows you to take down buildings even faster. Yeah, that thing. Aha, Storm Riders. Storm Riders, pretty good choice as he has very limited anti-air. Cabal has very limited anti-air, so it's a good choice for IPoWNYoU to get Storm Riders. Probably don't want to be using the Devourer tanks, well, not the charged up one, to shoot the mines, but of course you're going to want to clear out those mines because they can be quite devastating to disintegrator squads. Excuse me. Vertigo Bombers, also quite good, but stealth detection is even better, and looks like you need at least 2 Vertigo Bombers to take down a Harvester. So, not a whole lot of damage being done there. Looks like we're pressing into the second major battle of this game. It's kind of hard to tell who's going to win because IPoWNYoU does have Storm Riders somewhere, although he may only have that one. He does have 2 gravity stabilizers. I almost said airfield, but that would just be wrong. And it does have the Devourer tanks, which do quite well versus the ground mech units, the ground vehicles. Not so great versus the infantry, but they do alright. Vertigo Bombers probably just hit something and I totally missed it. Sorry. Oh, man. Storm Riders going on harass. If they can get this tech center, that will be a pretty big deal because not only is it $4,000, 4,000 credits, but it also stops Avatar production. And Avatar is pretty good, especially in the late game. Those tier 3 mechs. Very good. But, you know, stealthed Vertigo Bombers are also quite good. Oh, this air tower, if that goes down too, may force a bit of a base race. It may have been in Cabal's best interest to just have engaged directly, because I think Cabal probably could have won the ground battle, not necessarily going to be able to win the air battle with Avatars and Scorpion tanks. So I don't know if pulling back was the best choice, but I mean, you know, it's not exactly the worst choice either. But Cabal dominating the ground, I would say. Also dropping SAM towers, dropped one in the main as well. Which is, you know, very important because Storm Riders, quite pesky, especially when you get 8, but SAMs are single target at a time, so they can only take down 1 Storm Rider at a time. Which may take them a while. Actually, IPoWNYoU might want to go ahead and take down this Tiberium tower as Tiberium Spike, as it's basically undefended, and that would put a slight damper in Cabal's economy. But you know what else does? Devastator warships. This poor tower, and there it collapses. So sad. My frame rate's dropping a little bit, so I'm sorry if you experience any lag on your end. As we gear up for the third big battle of this game, we got Annihilator tripods, Avatars, Tier 3, and Devastator warships, making this a full Tier 3 battle. Looks like Cabal's pulling back. IPoWNYoU got the stasis field, I believe, making his units invincible for a short while. Definitely good for taking out infantry and the such. But Devastator warships, he's got 4 of them now, probably reinforcing with more. Gonna need more SAM sites than that. Drops a storm column for the extra Tier 3 base defense. He might need to just mass out militant rocket squads. That might be the trick. That might be what does the trick for this battle. Storm, well, he had a lightning tower. Lightning spike. Pulling back. IPoWNYOU's pulling back with his Devastator warships. Probably a good idea. Might want to, He is pulling back to the storm column, so if CABAL tried to press forward, he would have had to deal with the storm column as well as all the other defenses. Also gives the Devastator warships a bit of a damage boost, I believe. It might also give them a defense boost, I'm not sure. Storm Riders going for not the Tiberium spike, but rather that building with a single squad of infantry. Might have been a bit of a misclick. Going for more harassment, might take out Op Center or go for the power. Definitely a good idea if you can get it. SAM sites obviously prevent that. Did CABAL? I don't think CABAL ever rebuilt his tech center, so these 3-4 avatars, very crucial, because if he loses those, you know, he's going to have to drop another tech center to remake them, and they are not exactly cheap. I hope I'm not missing anything. CABAL... yeah, it doesn't tell you the price. But anyways, stopped a little bit of harassment. I'm assuming CABAL was sending those attack bikes to either take care of the Storm Riders, which didn't happen, or go for a bit of a harassment, might be able to take out a couple of harvesters, dropping the regrowth, or I guess just the growth accelerator, which isn't seen very often because it's kind of a indirect bonus. People don't necessarily like to spend a whole lot of cash on something that doesn't give you a huge bonus, but, I mean, over time, growth accelerator adds up. Not necessarily it's the best choice, but yeah, it helps. Especially in the late game when Tiberium becomes very scarce and you park a barracks on it. Which, you know, Tiberium field isn't going to grow out that much in this game. Looks like CABAL may be gearing up for the final push. Might be a good idea to actually grab 3 or 4 of these harvesters and put them kind of at the front line, because harvesters have a fair amount of health and they will absorb a fair amount of damage before going down, which, you know, a couple of shots from an Annihilator tripod or Devastator warships, that can make a big difference. So, even better than destroying the tower, IPoWNYoU actually captured the Tiberium spike. Trying a little bit of harassment, it seems, with some attack bikes, getting beaten back. So IPoWNYoU actually sold off both of his gravity stabilizers, so no more aircraft for him. He's just going to have to make do with his 6 Storm Riders and 3 Devastator warships, which, you know, pretty good in a mostly ground-based army. What is CABAL doing? Bringing his MCV, maybe sell off most of his buildings, get some extra cash, so then he can drop some sort of production facility near his enemy's base and pump out units right into IPoWNYoU's base. Set up something like here. That might be the advantage that he needs, but it has been spotted. IPoWNYoU sending over his Storm Riders, and then he's like, oh, he's got his whole army over there. Not necessarily the best choice. Might want to hold off on these Storm Riders. Yeah, get the Devastator warships in there. They're pretty heavy hitters. And, of course, the range, quite nice in these situations. Especially if you're only taking a volley of 2 of rockets, but I think CABAL might need even more rocket squads to deal with this. Because he has 5, maybe 6 militant rocket squads, which isn't going to be enough to deal with this now. Force fields, or... yeah, they now have force fields, which, even more life for this ground-based army with almost no anti-air. You got 1, so basically 2 rocket squads. And dropping the lightning spike, that'll help even more. CABAL just doesn't have very much left, and IPoWNYoU, you know, 5 Annihilator tripods with force fields versus 0 avatars and an MCV that is out in the open and exposed and now sold. So this may be it for... yep, that's it. CABAL has been defeated, so IPoWNYoU taking it back. So if this was a series, it would be 1-1, but this isn't a series. And here we got the end screens, which, you know, graphs, pretty good. You know, everyone likes graphs. So as you can see from these graphs. They tell you a lot about the game. Look at that. Look at all those graphs. Here's the stats if anyone wants them. Oh, 2.26, IPoWNYoU. Doing pretty good that game. So, good game to both players. It was entertaining. I was entertained. I hope you were entertained. Thank you for joining me on this first full game cast. And it was rather exciting. Definitely not a disappointment.